Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Nicole with the Bushel and Peck Designs. Today we are working on a 20-ounce straight tumbler from the Tumbler supply store, and I'm going to just split it in half with some painter's tape. I'm not being exact, I'm just guesstimating, kind of. I'm using the center bottom ring as my guide. I'm laying down the painter's tape on one side straight and then making sure it cuts through the center of that circle and then laying it down on the other side. I am going to take my little measuring tape that I got recently from AB Designs Co. It's so perfect because it is one of those retractable ones, and my big one always gets knotted up. I don't know why, but it does. But this one is so easy and easy to store as well. So I'm going to measure it, and it was pretty close enough that I didn't feel the need to retape it at all. And then I really had a different game plan in mind when I started this, but then literally as I was taping it off, I had this idea to tape it off to make this side look like an American flag. So I just put the piece of tape down first in a spot that I thought was a good balance between where the blue would be and the red and white stripes, and I ran with it, and I wanted it to be diagonal, so I just taped off continually one piece next to the next and taped off all the bottom portion so that we could do the red and white stripes. After that was all taped off, I did label each stripe in the red and white just so I didn't confuse myself and accidentally pull up the wrong color. And then I really love the coverage that chalk paint gives me, so I tinted this one with a little bit of blue paint. It did turn it a light blue color, but it's okay. I just really wanted that coverage. I mixed it with a little bit of Crystal glitter glue, painted that on, and then I'm going to go in with Glory. This tumbler is featuring the designer box from April from Diamonds and Dust. So it always comes with two patterned glitters, two patterned vinyls, and 3 coordinating glitters. So Glory was this blue color. It's a very pretty navy color. It's not a super chunky, but it's not a fine either. So I like to call this a medium cut. And then as soon as I applied that glitter, I am going to pull off the stripes for the red glitter, and I tinted it also just for that better coverage, and it did turn it a little bit pink, but it's okay. It's all going to be covered up, so you won't even know that I painted it pink. And then I am just carefully, I did mix a little bit of Crystal glitter glue in with that as well. I'm just carefully trying to make sure I don't get any of that paint on the blue glitter. And then the glitter in the red glitter is called Freedom this month from this box. It has a little bit of like gold flakes in it, not flakes, but like gold glitter specks in there as well. It's really pretty. So I'm just going to apply that to all of the red stripes, and then I'm going to immediately pull up the stripes for the white section, just again so that I am making sure I don't cross-contaminate at all any of these colors. So I saved the white for last, and I didn't need to tint the white chalk paint, obviously, but I just mixed in a little bit of Crystal glitter glue in with that, and I'm just very carefully painting on those stripes. And because I was extra careful and it took a little bit longer to apply the white paint, I just did one stripe at a time, and that way too I'm very careful not to try again and contaminate the white glitter. The white glitter is called Salute. It's so pretty because it's not a pure white. It's more of a creamy white, I'd say. Creamy, almost has some silver tone specks, I'd say. And then I'm just going to roll it on my notebook paper to help lay it down flat, and then immediately pull up all of that painter's tape so that it can dry. And then I'm going to set that aside to dry. And while we are letting that dry, we're going to work on some pens. The fun, new, exciting release with the designer box now is a pen box option. So every month, the regular OG designer box comes with the 3 glitters and 2 pattern vinyls that I mentioned, but now you have an option to add a pen box. You can get the combo box, which has the pen box and the original designer box, or you can just get the designer box by itself, or you can just get a pen box by yourself. And what the pen box includes is 2 pens, 1 snow globe pen and 1 regular ballpoint gel pen, and 2 small pattern vinyls. They are the same pattern vinyls that comes in the box, but on a smaller scale. So I took the pens apart and I am working with the non-snow globe pen first, and I'm just going to wrap that around the pen. What's nice, it's white, so you don't have to worry about base painting it if you need be, unless you of course wanted a different color. So I'm just going to wrap it just like I would wrap a cup, and then I'm going to trim off a little bit of that overhang, and then at the very top I am going to trim off just a little bit because I'm going to add some glitter and I didn't want to have that extra bulk up there. And then I really liked that, I trimmed off the bottom edge too, just like the top rim of a tumbler. And then I didn't want to cover up that silver section on the bottom or the top. I don't know which you consider the bottom and the top of a pen, but I wanted to preserve that little silver section. So I am going to very carefully tape that off, and then we are going to go straight in with some UV resin from Counterculture DIY. This one is my favorite brand. I've used a few, some I got at local Michael's and some I've gotten on Amazon, and they all worked okay, but this one I just find for me works the best. So I'm just going to spread that all over, and then we're going to go in with Salute, and we're just going to hit it at that top section where I cut off that vinyl. I'm going to give it pretty good coverage, tilt my pen, and try to give it a little bit of a waterfall down into that vinyl. I didn't want to cover up this pretty vinyl, but I just wanted a hint of something sparkly. So as soon as I have that applied, I'm going to peel off that painter's tape, and then I actually hit it just a little bit with my UV lamp and then let it sit outside in the sun because it was nice and sunny that day. And then I use straws for my pens, but the straw didn't quite fit in that section of the snow globe pen, so I just wrapped some painter's tape around it to make it fit in there nice and snug. I did the same thing, and I just wrapped that vinyl, the other pattern, around that little section, trimmed off the top and the bottom, and then I just applied some UV resin to the whole thing and cured that. And then we're going to go in and work on this snow globe portion. I am using some glitter juice from Cami Page Boutique. I had just a tiny bit left in this bottle, but it was the perfect amount. Like, I couldn't have planned it any better. And I put a little bit of the glitter juice in. I think mine is the medium flow. And then I added a little bit of glitter, and then I shook it up to try to mix it, and then added a little bit more glitter juice. In hindsight, if I were to do this again, I would mix the glitter juice with the glitter in a separate cup and then just apply it all in one to this little snow globe portion of the pen. It's such a small area, and it kept getting clogged in that little area, so I kind of just went back and forth trying to, not clogged, but it kept getting like a bubble so it wouldn't move down any further. So I just kind of went back and forth until I got it filled up and the bubble kind of went away so that the glitter would actually move. Once I had that all figured out and finished, I am going to put the pen back together. This portion with the gold tip is the plug, the seal for this snow globe portion of the pen. There's no gluing anything back together. It's so nice. It's so easy to put together. So I just screwed that back in, and then I am wiping down my pen and my fingers because at this point I had really made a huge mess. It's so easy though to just screw it back together. No gluing of anything like snow globe cups or finding a seal. It's so easy. So I set that aside, and then I'm going to give the little portion of this pen another coat of UV resin, apply that, and let it sit outside. While it was drying, we are going to work on the other portion of the split tumbler. So I'm going to take this vinyl from the box and just trim it off so that it fits on the other half of the tumbler. I tried to get it as close as I possibly could to the right size, but I did have a little bit of an overlap. So when I applied it, I just butted it up as close as I could to that glitter section. I did leave a tiny bit so it didn't overlap on that side. We're going to cover it up with a vinyl stripe at the end anyway, so you won't even see that. And then right here, it was just overlapping a little bit more than I would have liked it to. It's barely anything. So I just took my sharp X-Acto knife and ran it down that line and then trimmed that off, and then trimmed off the top overhang as well. And then I'm going to use my heat gun to heat up the bottom portion like I've done in many other videos, and just pull tight on that vinyl to cover up that lip, and then we're going to trim that off so it leaves a nice, clean, stretched edge. Then I'm going to give that 2 coats of Rust-Oleum's clear glossy spray paint, and then give it 2 coats of epoxy until it's smooth. And then while that is curing, we are going to work on this pen, putting it back together. So once this little section was cured, I'm going to pull it off my straw and put it back together. You just pop it right on that little plug section, and I wanted to make sure I didn't get any UV resin in there, so I just scraped it through with my sharp X-Acto knife and then push it together, and it kind of clicks together. You'll see right here, it kind of just, I'm pushing, but then it just clicks, and then you'll know it's together. And then I applied the inside parts. I think I forgot the screw, so I wasn't exactly sure if the screw went in here, but it didn't affect it one way or another, so I just left it. And this one you twist to turn or bring out the pen portion, and it writes so smooth. I really like this pen. I'm usually a lover of gel pens, but I really love a good smooth ballpoint pen as well. So after that, this was cured. I am going to pull out a bunch of vinyl stripes that I've got stored in a little drawer and figure out what color I want to do. The red seemed too bright, white seemed too bright since the white flowers aren't really quite bright white, they're kind of a creamy white. So I pulled out all the options, and while I was deciding what I wanted to do, I cut the small vinyl stars for the flag portion of this tumbler. So I just cut a big square of them, and then I'm going to just lay them down flat and trim off anything that falls below that blue portion. Then I'm going to go in and apply the SVG on the vinyl side. I got this SVG from Diamonds and Dust as well. I felt like Stars and Stripes was a good fun saying to go with this theme of this tumbler. So I decided to go with that shimmery gold vinyl. So I cut the offset in white, even though it's bright white and I said it was kind of too bright for this vinyl. I felt like it really did add a little bit to the SVG because I didn't want it to blend in, and I wanted something that contrasted this gold vinyl. So I'm using this gold shimmery vinyl from Hobby Lobby. It is that one that I have a lot of trouble with my transfer tape picking up, so I am applying a lot, or as many as I possibly can, of the smaller sections by hand. It does rip very easily, so be very careful. It is super sticky too. I have messed up so many times where it lays down not in the place that I want it, and I peel it up and it rips. So it will also crack if you pull it too hard. So when I am applying it right here on the stripes, I'm trying very hard not to pull it and stretch it. So I'm going to stripe out in between all of those red and white sections, and then come back with my transfer tape and finish applying the rest of that SVG. Then I'm going to stripe out that section where the vinyl and the glitter sections meet. And then I was staring at it and I really liked it, but I felt like the American flag glitter side needed something a little bit more. So I pulled all my stripes back out and I thought I would just stripe out in the center of each section. And I was debating, do I want to put a red stripe on the red section and a white stripe on the white section, or alternate it? So ultimately I decided this way it gave it kind of a look like it was extra red and white stripes, so it broke up that division a little bit. So I went with a glitter white vinyl from Hobby Lobby for the white, and then I had some like 2 random dark red glitter stripes that I had cut for the red section, and it matched this red perfectly. Some of the other reds were just too bright. I was trying to avoid it to look too candy caney, so I thought this was a good balance. And then I gave it 2 final coats of epoxy, and this beauty was all done. I absolutely love the contrast between the glitter flag and the vinyl side that has no glitter on it. It's kind of just like a pop of wow when you turn your tumbler around. And the pens turned out lovely. I absolutely love them. I love that this is a new option available for anyone who loves to make pens. Like me, I love to make pens. I do have a pen club if you're interested. Every month you get 2 new pens shipped right to your door. And that is it. I absolutely love the way this came out, and as usual, I will leave all of the information, where to find me, and the products that I used down in the description box. And I will be back on Saturday with another tutorial just for you, and I hope you have a good rest of your week. Bye, y'all.